Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to do some lighting upgrades to the Tacoma. I've been hoarding some parts and today is just a good day to go ahead and get it on. It's raining outside, so we're going to be doing this in the garage. If it's a little echoey, I'm sorry. There's not much in here, so it's pretty empty. One of the issues I've been having is when we have the camper on, you just don't see too well behind it. We have a little camera relocation kit, but even with that, just the lighting backing up and stuff like that is not great, and you don't have great visibility with the camper. So Diode Dynamics came out with a new Hitch receiver light. Today, this is going to be one of the things we're going to install. It's supposed to be plug and play to a regular 7-pin connector. So that should be pretty easy. And then for quite a while, I've had a rock light kit from Comp. Let me show you guys. So this is the light kit that I had, Comp. And it comes with 6 sets of lights, harness, and everything else like that to mount it. So we'll try to get that done today. Like I said, I've had this kit for probably about a year now. I got it at a trade show and it's just been sitting, haven't had an opportunity to actually install it. So we'll try to do that today. And the last thing I have is a Meso Customs Shift knob. And the cool thing about the shift knob is it has little switches on it on each side that you can connect different accessories to. The harness that it comes with relocates the ECT power button down to the shift knob. So when you're driving, you can just click the knob to turn on the ECT instead of reaching under the dash to turn it on. And we'll go over this once we get to the inside. For now, the first thing we're going to start off of is getting this on. And in order to do that, I got to remove my hitch extension. Alright, I have this hitch extension on the Tacoma because we use a bike rack with the camper. And when we use the bike rack, we normally just leave this on. But we haven't been taking the bikes out, so I'm going to take it off. And the light's going to plug right into there. It can plug into here also. It's the same thing, just extended out. But I think I'm going to remove it. I don't really want this on full time. It sticks quite a bit out past the car. Alright, so this one's just held on with 2 19mm nuts, and then the pin, and it comes right off. Everything is nice and wet and muddy from the rain. Alright, for the light, it comes with a harness that plugs right into your 7-pin connector in the back of the car, or in the back of the hitch. And then it comes with the actual light. There's a harness plug on here, plugs in, and then it just plugs into the back of the hitch. The nice thing about this, it has a couple of features. It's an extra brake light when you apply the brake light, and then it also gives you a backup light when you put it into reverse. So multifunctional. Like I said, hopefully it gives a little bit more light. We'll go ahead and try it out at night and see how much extra light it actually produces. We'll go ahead, get onto the car, plug the harness in first, and then we'll put this into the hitch. Alright, might be a little hard to see, but we have our connector back here. We're gonna go ahead, take this off, and then plug the harness into it. Alright, so we got it plugged in. This was the original harness from the car. This is the bypass that gets plugged into the original spot. Just making sure everything snaps together. And now we just have this pigtail that we're gonna put in through the back. Comes out the front. Grab our light. Snaps in. And then it has the little retention clips that go into the holes right there. Don't really like the way it wiggles. So we might have to add something, and then we'll wire manage this. Let's turn on the car and make sure it works before we go further into it. I made a slight mistake. This light does not come as a fourth brake light. They do have this option, but it's in the upgraded version of this. The one I got is just the running light, the red running light, and the backup light. And as you saw, it works well, so I'm happy with it. Hopefully at night it'll give us a little extra light when backing up with the camper and stuff. But for now, we're gonna open up the rock lights, see how far each one of them is, where we can place them, and try to tie it into our little light switch. So we'll move the truck forward a little bit, give us some more room, and we'll get started on that. Right, this is a harness that the ProComp rock lights come with. You have 2, 4, 6 plugs for each one of the lights. You have the controller box, and then the harness with a switch and a positive and negative connection. We're probably going to get rid of this little rocker switch because I have the light panel here, so I have a designation and a spare switch that I left for the rock lights. So we shouldn't need to use that switch. So we're probably gonna open up the harness here, double check where it's plugging into, and just either unplug it or figure out how it's connected. And then the rock lights each have a pretty decently, it's 3.5 meters, so it's like what, 8 feet or so, 9 feet of wire. So they should all reach from the corners. I don't know if I'm going to install all 6 of them or 4 of them, but we'll lay them out on the car, figure that out. But I'm probably going to tackle the harness first before we spend all of our time doing this. You can't actually plug them in, and then it comes with some mounting pads and hardware for it. Alright, so what it looks like, we have this is going to the switch, and this is going to our positive and negative. So we have the positive just going into the switch, being actuated on and off, and that's going to activate the blue wire for power to the actual unit itself. So what we're going to do is snip these. The ground to the switch we don't need, since there's going to be a ground going to the battery, so we'll just tape that off, and then we'll connect the red and blue wire together. That way we can bypass the switch and make a straight on connection. Got the switch disconnected. Might save it for later. I don't know. Figure that out. So then the ground we won't need, so we're going to tape that off. Nice and easy. Throw some shrink tube on it. We'll grab a bigger piece. I'm going to strip these. We'll get that in the middle, heat it up. And then it's hard to see, but it is melting out. There's some solder in the middle. So once you heat it up, it runs out and fuses the two wires together. And then the rest is heat shrink. Might be hard to see, but the solder ran in the middle, connects the wires, makes a nice and solid connection. Super easy to use, good electrical connection, make sure everything works well. Now what we're going to do is just tape everything up, put it down, tape it up, and then we can go ahead and figure out where we're going to put the lights on the bottom of the car. Ran into a little snag, so we might not install the lights today. It looks like the hardware that they come for with self-tappers are these long screws. So when you put it in, it's just excessively long. I don't have anything smaller to install this, so I might have to go buy some hardware and make it a little smaller, because the other bolt that it comes with is just as long as the self-tapper. So that's just a little too long. So I'm kind of bummed out, because I did want to just go ahead and get this installed and get it over with, because they've been sitting for so long, but looks like we're going to have to wait a little bit longer to actually get these installed. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything shorter with me at the apartment here. So that's a bummer, but I think we'll move on to getting the shift knob installed. Alright, so we're in the car now. We're going to start off by taking off the original shift knob, and then we got to take this dash apart to be able to get down to the little button here, the ECT button. This is what the harness is for. Harness plugs into the back of that button and then transfers it to the shift knob. The other button becomes available for whatever accessory you want to connect to it. So, like I said, we'll start off by taking this off, and then I got a couple of bolts up here because of the little rail that we added. So we got to take those out, and then we should be able to pop this off. The reason we need to take the screw off is because when I installed the little T-channel, they come with additional brackets here. This little screw goes into the bracket and holds it, so you're not able to actually pull off the bezel. If you have the original and didn't modify this, then you would be able to just unclip the bezel without having to take the screws off. Alright, next what we're going to do is loosen up this driver's side panel a little bit. Alright. Trying to get in here. Alright, I'll grab a little screwdriver. Alright, it's not coming out. I'll have to go grab something to get it loose. Alright, so pop this off. There is a clip here that holds it in. It was pretty snug. I ended up using just a little body panel popping tool, prying tool. Got that on top, and then I put my finger in here in the hole and ended up giving it a pull, and it came out. You want this loose in order to be able to get this panel out. Next thing that we're going to do is loosen the two 10 mils on the bottom here, just so we have a little bit of slack for the radio to take this out. You don't have to fully take them out. You just want to loosen them up so that the radio has a little bit of play in it. Alright, and then I'm going to use two hands, pull this bottom section out, or middle section out, and then unplug the wires. Alright, so this will come out. There's a couple of plugs right here. Ooh. You can go ahead, squeeze it so it comes out, and then we can set this off to the side so it's not in our way. Okay. Now what we're going to do is going to loosen the center console up so we're able to lift it up a little bit. Step that we're going to do is we're going to take our harness and feed it through the back here so we can come up through here and connect it to the actual knob. So it plugs in, and then this little pigtail is the extra one available for when you want to connect another accessory to it. I might add little longer wires on here and hide them somewhere, or just leave it as is. We'll figure that out. I don't have anything else to connect to the second button right now, but eventually I want to figure out something to connect to it. Alright, so we'll try to feed this through here. It's a little hard to show, but we'll feed it through. Once I get it through, I'll show you guys how it goes. Alright, what I ended up doing was I fed it through the very corner of it, and I had the wire come out on the back right here. And then I fed it underneath the side panel, and now the wires right here. I also tucked the extra harness towards the bottom so I can actually access the wires from the very corner underneath the dash. Now what we're going to end up doing is putting on the shift knob and getting the wires to pop through to connect to the harness right here. Alright, so I got the shift knob on. There is a tiny little hole in front of the clip where you can actually feed your wires. And then if you guys can see, there's the boot, and the wires came right out. You can see the white little clip right there. Push them through the boot, they come out, and then we have the harness right here to plug them into. It's a super tight space, so it's hard to record in here and have your hands in, but I got to pull that second wire through, and connect it to the open harness right there. Alright, we got the center console put back in. I did turn on the key in the ignition, make sure this still shifted. Got the little collar on. Now what we're going to do is plug in the AC controls back in, put the bezel in, and double check, make sure everything's turning on and off, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so clips are all in, vents are working. We'll get this little screw put back in. Alright, nice and tight. Let's turn the car on. Alright, no lights. Now instead of having to look for this button, I left it in place and just unplugged the harness to it. Now we can use the switch right here, and if we look at the dash, when I press it, the light turns on, turns off, just keeping our hand here. Now with the camper going uphill and stuff like that, I'm not going to have to try to go down and figure out where the button is while driving. Can keep my eyes on the road and just turn it on and off as needed. Like I said, the other one's not being used yet, but we'll figure out what to do with that. Alright, that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys for watching. I'm picking up the camper at the end of March, at the end of this month, and bringing it up to Oregon. With that, I do want to do a couple of things in it, organize some stuff, and possibly take out the roll couch to make a little bit more room inside. So stay tuned. We'll be working on the camper shortly as soon as I get it. But for now, just some little Tacoma updates. Once again, thank you for watching, guys.